Good afternoon everybody, welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great and welcome to this new video right here on the markets. And I'm calling this a relatively urgent update. There's quite a lot of aggressive momentum right now in the markets and I wanted to give you my thoughts on that. This was slightly to be expected. I mean, one of the main things that's going on right now, and we'll talk about more, right? I mean, in this video, if you're new to the channel, basically what we'll do is I'll take a look a little bit at the fundamentals around the markets. Are the fundamentals also good? Well, the market is moving up right now, which you can see right now. Athena is doing great. ENS is doing great, which I'm very happy with. Since I posted that as a signal. That's a relatively significant position I took just in transparency. And if you're interested in joining our group, which is amazing, right? We have profitable trades. We have amazing trading guides who actually teach you how to become a better trader yourself. Consider joining that, but that's besides the point. There's a lot of momentum right now in the markets. So we'll look at the fundamentals. Is it good? We'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at XRP. We'll take a look at Ethereum. And Ethereum is moving a little bit more aggressive than what I expected. Because what I said in the video this morning is that the probability of a breakout was becoming higher, right? Because of all the strength that we saw. But now we're getting a lot of aggressive strength again on a Friday, which is a little bit risky, but we'll talk about that, right? And then there's some other altcoins that I think we need to talk about, even though the Ethereum ecosystem, right? So Athena, ENS, Arbitrum, Optimism, that's by far the strongest narrative and category at this point of time. But okay, before we get into it, first let's take a look at the fundamentals. Are the fundamentals actually doing good as well? Or are the fundamentals doing bad? If they were doing bad, that would be a sign that this could be some sort of a bull trap on a Friday, right? Because Fridays historically are very much known as a de-risking day. So it's a little bit strange to see a bullish Friday, but take a look at the fundamentals and we know more. And if we do take a look at the fundamentals are good. The S&P 500 and equities are rallying after a relatively bearish day yesterday. The volatility index is at the lowest levels in the last week, so that shows stability as well. Gold is rejecting from resistance, and it's also not showing as much support anymore or as much momentum anymore as what it did. We have a Coinbase Bitcoin premium, so there's significant bidding coming into Bitcoin, at least on Coinbase, which is usually a good sign as well. And if you take a look at others, the Altcoin index, we spoke about it this morning. I think they're still, like, we're leaving some imbalances here. I think there is still room for some sort of a pullback here, and I think we should be ready for that. But as it stands right now, it is bullish. We've had a bullish breakout, and whether we're going to get a pullback or not, I think we are going to stay bullish. And I think that's the general thoughts I have right now in the markets. I think there's a realistic chance that this is a bull trap, right? So that we're going to get bullish momentum right now, and that during the US session has opened 40 minutes ago, that later during the US session we're going to get a deeper pullback and a lot of people will get liquidated. That is a realistic possibility, and I think you should absolutely be ready for that, and you should absolutely know that that's that could happen. But regardless of whether it does or not, like if we talk about Bitcoin right here, I think Bitcoin is going to stay bullish on the higher time frames, right? So if we're going to get a bull trap, which by the way, it's realistic, it's a possibility. Do I think it's most likely at this point of time? Actually, no. Because of the strength of the fundamentals, I think it's a possibility and you should be ready for it. But I think we'll most likely just remain relatively stable and see a continuation higher. Right, so those are my thoughts on Bitcoin here specifically, with this pullback only happening if we actually do make today a bull trap, which I don't think is confirmed at this point of time, at least not. And when you take a look at Ethereum, for example, which is showing a lot of momentum, like if this is a bull trap, I still think we're going to be able to hold that level at 3,800 and 3,750. And if we get a good reaction there, we can easily rally into 4,100 and 4,200 as well. So those are my general thoughts on the markets, even though, you know, price action like this, maybe it's a bull trap. Be ready for the bull trap, but remain optimistic on the higher time frames is the general advice. It's not financial advice, but that's the general thoughts that I have right now on the markets. XRP, which I tried to cover as well, has a little bit less momentum at this point of time. I still think it's more likely that we might feel some imbalances to the upside, but that this XRP will pull back first. Like I said this morning as well, into 3.25, 3.2 before we can make a move up higher. So my thoughts on XRP haven't changed, but like I said, on the higher time frames, Bitcoin Ethereum, and altcoins in general look good. And I don't see any reason technically nor fundamentally to doubt that. Now, if the fundamentals change, if we get some super bearish bad news all of a sudden, then my thoughts can change as well. But as it stands, those are my thoughts. So, like I said, with Ethereum doing the best right here, I think Ethereum beta is definitely a category to keep your eyes on. So then we're talking about Pendle. Pendle has seen a huge amount of momentum. Would I buy this right now? No. But will I buy this during a pullback? Probably yes. Definitely want to keep your eyes on. Uniswap to a lesser extent, Aave to a lesser extent, but like I said, something like Ethereum naming service ENS is doing quite well, and Athena is also still very strong. With Pepe, which is sometimes Ethereum beta, also showing some momentum, and Pepe has been very it's been lagging behind. If this is able to get a reclaim above the yearly rolling VWAP, which is around 0.0118. I think that's interesting as well. And then outside of that, what more altcoins do we have? I still think Aptos is very interesting after some sort of a deeper pullback. Showed a lot of momentum. I still think Lido DAO is interesting, which is also Ethereum beta, by the way. Yeah, there's more that I think is interesting, but those are kind of the main. That's the main category, and those are some of the main coins that I think you should be looking at right now. Keep your eyes on Ethereum, keep your eyes on Bitcoin, keep your eyes on the S&P 500, so you actually have an idea of what the fundamentals are doing. And I think that's all you need to know for today. I'll be back tomorrow with new videos, of course, and a market update, so keep your eyes open for that. But for now, I want to wish you all a great weekend. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow, and bye.